This is the Kudila television channel. This is the special investigative part B, the special investigation on the princess regent baby kittens being starved by the evilness personified, situated at the Joy Foundation. I'm sitting at the bus stop called the Newham University Hospital bus stop. This is roughly the time when the prince, princess, regent, baby kittens would be starting their meal, having the meal, evening meal. I have the box of gourmet pouches food, but I can't open the box because I'm not being allowed into the precinct where the evilness personified. Now, I could ring this public contact phone number, but I dare not because of the absolute certainty of the evilness personified being the one at the other end of the phone. So, this is the evidence. This is the evidence of the two angels on the two shoulders that are recording as I'm recording this program. At the day of judgment, whenever the day of judgment comes, the day of judgment will see the evidence of the chronicles recorded by the two angels as promised by God in Surah Al Isra, that the evilness personified, evilness, agent of Shaitan, the devil, is denying the baby angels, the princess kittens, their meal. How can the stupid morons be in vehicles where they have this loudest possible noise playing while they're supposed to be driving? My message to the baby angels, especially communication enabled by God, is the baby angel kitten ones, the princess baby angel ones. I love you dearly, and I wish I could get into the premises, getting legitimately without obstruction, and to reach you to give you the meal. But I cannot do that because the evilness personified would cause problems and make up any number of allegations that he can then use against you. I don't know how you have been surviving the last 7 days, the baby kitten ones, but I shall be praying to God. I am praying to God that God, who has created the universe, kun fayakun. So after kun, the creation, all the creations, including the 18,000 creatures, as stated in the Holy Quran, for the benefit of human beings. Now, why would as many as 18,000 different creatures be created by God for the benefit of human beings. And the human beings typify and are typified by this evilness, Shaitan, based at the Joy Foundation. There are evilnesses like Liz Truss, who is featured, latest feature in the Daily Star, which gave her the name the lettuce Liz, who was defeated by the lettuce, the vegetable. This is 6 minutes long now so far, 21:37 hours GMT. And as I promised, I am not going to contact or make any phone call to the local councillor Jane Lofthouse, who temporarily, for a brief couple of days or so, was in contact with me, but has since adopted the policy of not answering her phone. When the phone obviously rings and my number appears on the screen, now that is inconsistent with the apparent sense of fairness and sense of solidarity that she actually appeared to show when she first gained contact with me. Now, Aidan Patrick White, the combination of these names suggests that he is of Irish origin, Irish descent. Aidan Patrick White used the phrase minefield when in 1981 I suggested to him that he attended a meeting of mainly Bangladeshi young people at a venue called the Montefiore Center in the Hanbury Street. And typical of a racist, ignorant, white so called lefty, Aidan White said that he couldn't do that because to him, the Bangladeshi community was like a minefield. Now, Aidan White could not be more wrong because he didn't know the Bangladeshi community, which I alone have created politically in a way that none of the patronizing racists may think Bangladeshi community is like. I have given the Bangladeshi community the unique political, ethical, and moral identity that it would never be given by anybody else. Full stop. And the purpose for my asking Aidan Patrick White, the Patrick bit was not known until this week. Aidan Patrick White was ignorant of the East End of London, in whose name he and Jake Eccleston and a fellow racist called Mike Jamshit had claimed to be setting up or had set up in 1981 a thing called the East End News as being a crew belonging to the so called radical wing of the National Union of Journalists. And they set up this National Union of Journalists version of the alternative to the existing commercial and, of course, very decidedly racist title called the East London Advertiser, which I call East London Idiotizer because it gives people materials to become idiotic. So the verb transitive idiotizer. The morons, Jake Eccleston the racist, Adrian Patrick White the racist, Mike Jem Shit the racist, didn't have any clue as to the real demography and the mentality of the people of the East End of London, especially the people that had been targeted by the racists publishing the article called The World Beyond the Curtain or The World Beyond the Curtains in the Sunday Times magazine of 2nd of December 1973, byline to a racist cunt called Leslie Garner, Garner, Leslie, Les for sugar, Ley, Leslie Garner. Now that piece was a fanatical dedication against the Siloti speaking people, the Muslim people of Siloti speaking origin. The Bangladeshis recently created Bangladeshi concept because the Bangladesh as a state had come into being less than 2 years before the 2nd of December 1973, which was on the 16th of December 1971, when the then India, fronted by Indira Gandhi, essentially Indira Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru's daughter, mounted an all-out aerial strike against the East Pakistan-based Pakistan army, forcing the Pakistan army to surrender to the Indian military. That was on the 16th of December 1971. So the 2nd of December 1973 was less than 2 years, 2 weeks short of 2 years, since the 16th of December 1971. And the Sunday Times article corruptly, racistly, ignorantly, in a crusader way, lied against the role of the Siloti speaking Bangladeshi Muslims during the year 1971 when the so called independence war, the liberation war, was being fought for the liberation of East Pakistan as Bangladesh from the Federation of Pakistan. And Leslie Garner said that the people of East Pakistan, of whom the Siloti speaking people in and around the Brick Lane area, were reluctant to support the cause of the independence, so called independence and liberation movement for Bangladesh. And it was the evilness the racist Leslie Garner claimed, quote, due to the patriotic zeal of the Bengalis. She made the clear point about distinguishing between Silotis and Bengalis, that the Siloti speaking people of Brick Lane joined any effort for the cause of liberating Bangladesh at all. Now, my biological father was himself a leading effort for in London, in New Road, London E11HE. And he was such a leading organizer that he mobilize thousands and thousands of Siloti people to both donate money, give up their work, daytime work, and attend various rallies held in Hyde Park in London in order to raise international awareness for the cause of Bangladesh. A relation of mine called Nisar Ali from Sundarpur in Silot was a leading organizer of the support for the cause of Bangladesh. So, how on earth did the evilness called Leslie Garner find the basis to assert that the Silotis were not only reluctant to join the cause of Bangladesh but were persuaded to do that, persuaded by the Bengalis. Now that was 1973, and this is 2004, which is more than 50 years, more than 50 years since 1971, more than 50 years since 1972, sorry, 73. And even more than 50 years later, demographically, the composition of the UK Bangladeshis remains very much numerically heavily weighed in favor of Siloti speakers. So the expression, the Bangladeshis are a minefield, used by Patrick White, was multiply idiotic, ignorant, stupid, racist, insulting. What Aidan Patrick White actually has done and had done is to derogate the status of somebody like me to a lower level than the status that he would assign attached to a white Anglo Saxon Western imperialist idiotic person. Now, the intellectual level that I have operated on is universal, very much, very many layers above anything that Aidan Patrick White would inhabit. But he remains sunk in the degrading, degenerate level of patronizing racism that looks down on me. And any attempt on my part to enlighten him is seen as a negative thing. I'm going to end this one because the way that these evilness at the Joy Foundation is controlled and allowed to be controlled is very, very distressing for me because the knowledge, the awareness that the baby angel kitten ones are being denied the food while I am carrying the food and I'm being prevented to food, serve the food to them is very, very unbearable and very shocking. So I'm ending this particular video, which is 19 minutes, just under 20 minutes long, at 21:51 GMT on Thursday, the 15th of August, 2024.